All right, guys. Make sure the audio is working. It looks like audio is okay at the moment. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell for more of these videos, more of these live streams. But I just had to make a video and see what's going on or a live stream on this position that we talked about for I think 3 different videos this past week. It's been pretty great, right? I don't think the video views have been the best because I don't think it's a popular play at the moment. But it is something that we've made a decent amount of money on, and I'm going to talk about it whether we're getting a billion views or we have one person here watching. I appreciate anybody that comes through that's willing to talk crypto or wants to talk crypto. But I'm always looking for that next play, something that's going to be big, something that's going to be worth um, quite a bit, and for good reason, right? Not just exploding because it's exploding, or not just moving because the popularity, right? The moving because of things like massive burns or things like massive use cases. I want to see that more than I want to see just movement for movement. Um, so I appreciate anybody that's here. We got about 16 people that are here. We got 5 likes. If you guys could hit that like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you want to check out my links down below, I have a link for Patreon. I have a link for Twitter. Speaking of Patreon, they just released something. Well, at least as far as I know, I checked the desktop version today. I don't think I checked it yesterday, but they allow you to live stream directly on Patreon, which is fantastic because before I would have to utilize YouTube in order to live stream. So I would have to go through, YouTube here, reset up another live stream, and then, have kind of a separate thing going on or a private live stream. So now I can do that private live stream that I wanted, maybe of 1 or 2 people, 5 people, it doesn't really matter, and talk about my leverage trade, go through actual leverage trades, and go through my daily movement here. Um, Sometimes I'll be profitable, sometimes I won't. And sometimes what it will help me do is always be able to improve my strategy, make it a little bit better. So I think what I'm going to do is find a way, and I'm brainstorming right now, so it's not necessarily a a done deal. What I'm going to do is probably do public live streams over there. So ones that are open to everybody who's not only just a member of Patreon, but also whoever's just a public member or a paid member. I will include that live stream kind of for everybody. And then maybe we'll do like a separate thing for people that are paid members. But right now, I think just to be able to establish more and more people over on Patreon, public is kind of the way to go, just like on YouTube. But it'll be more about my day trading strategy. It'll be more about my crypto trading strategy, my long-term investment strategy. Because if you look at some of these moves that I'm making, whether it's OKB or whether it's Terra Luna Classic or whatever, right? I'm up 300% on OKB. I'm up 15% on Terra Luna Classic. I'm up 42% on what is that? On ADA. I'm up 301%, 364%, 21%. Yes, I'm down a couple of others, 36% and 18%. But obviously, a lot of the other ones do make up for it. So to be profitable, leverage trading shows that people can be um, like they can leverage trade. They can have short-term investments. You can make money from leverage trading, right? I'm able to turn an account from $500 to $5,000 within a few months. I could possibly turn it to much more than that within a shorter period of time, depending on how my strategy develops. So, um, yeah, this is something I want to not only just tell people, hey, this is a great platform, but show people it's a great platform. So, speaking of this platform, if you guys want to sign up for this platform, feel free to check out my link um, in the description and in the chat for BTCC. They also have a thing going on. Well, first you'll get a 10% deposit bonus, then you'll get extra bonuses up to $10,055. You can get 40% lower trading fees, and a 500x leverage. However, they also have, let me see if I have it here because I know it comes up every time I do this, it changes to a bear. So they also have, it did change to a bear. They also have a giveaway that's going on. 500 USDT giveaway where they're doing two winners of $250 per winner for anybody that signs up for August within this time frame, August 20th to August 27th. All you have to do is sign up, deposit, and trade between these dates. Doesn't matter how much it is. You can just trade, and you will be eligible to win the 250 USDT. And 250 USDT can go a long way. Remember, what I started with in my BTCC account, I started with $500 and I was able to turn that to $5,640 at the time of this live stream. I was able to do all of that with just $500. And that's because I was being conservative in the beginning. I would do a couple of 2x leverages. That would make me a decent amount of money. Then I would take some of those gains and do a little bit higher leverages depending on how far things fall. But still being able to protect myself. And I turned it into thousands of dollars. That's something that you can do with practice, right? I'm not the most technical trader. Right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you of every indicator and every pattern that I'm using because most likely I'm not using many patterns. There may be a scenario to where I might use one, but it's not a given that I'm always using, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, cup and handle. I'm not using, maybe I'll use W formations more than anything, but I'm mainly looking for support levels, right? So I'm not really looking for crazy technical things, but I'm able to be very profitable based on my strategy and what I have. And I hope that you guys can do the same. So anyways, OKB is at a good spot. That's what we're here to talk about. Do you remember Chirpley? Do I remember it? Or is it a person? No, I don't remember it. OKX is number 3 is CEX, 21 million tokens at a $4 billion market cap. I think at this point, it can do 20 billion or $1,000 per coin. What do you think? I agree. I'm 100% with you. When I saw that they have 21 million coins and they have no dilution and they burned off all of these coins and how much volume they actually have, absolutely. Right? I think that's 100% within the realm of possibility. And I just talked about that in one of my Patreon videos today about the fact that we can see a $500 price point and I wouldn't even like question it, right? I know that it can get up to those points. I know that it can grow even past those points. And the one thing that does make me, a little bit upset is the fact that my strategy was, right, to invest a total of $1,500 into OKB at a 3x leverage, meaning that I'm basically investing $4,500 into this play. However, I didn't get a chance to invest the next 500 or the next 1,000. I only invested about $570. At first, it was only like 100 something, and I tried to get it back up to 500, and it was a little bit over. So $570 is what I invested at the $95 level. And while I'm not upset about the fact that the gains are happening, I'm just upset that I couldn't get all of what I wanted in there. Right? I wanted to protect my investment by giving myself the ability to kind of double down in a way. To give me a lower cost basis because I wasn't sure if we would see it come back down to 70. It went from 144 here down to 90 or where I was at 95 and then decreased a little bit more. And I was like, all right, if it gets down to, $80 or $75, which was at that time, it was around the 15 moving average. If it gets down to $75, I was like, let me double down, let me add more into it. Yeah, you cannot predict this. I mean, I set up things for multiple occasions. So, um, like I said, the total amount that I wanted was 1,500. But having 3 points to invest, it gave me the safety of protecting whatever I invest at those levels, right? Being involved in the trade. Because if I would have waited for it to just come down to $70, I would have never gotten into the play. So I have a point to get into the play, $95. I have a point to double down at a maybe a little bit lower of investment, which was $75. And if it comes down even further than that, down to the 50 moving average or 200 EMA or whatever, I now have an even lower price so that I can really show, or really lower my cost basis and giving me a lower liquidation point as well, while giving me the full skin in the game that I wanted, right? Um, which again could give me way more coins at that moment, right? My order size right now, it says about 18.1, so that's how many OKB that I own. But either way, you can see here that with my OKB that I put in here, I'm up $1,751 on that $570 investment. So I made I'm making money from it. But it's just, you always get into that scenario. You're like, I should have put my full amount that I wanted in there, but my strategy was what it was, and it's working out. So now I can find for the other USDT I have, I can find other plays that can make me a decent amount of money, short term or long term. Um, but yeah, I'm not upset with the gains that I've seen. I'm not upset with it at all. I'm not upset with the position. Um, just maybe my strategy should have been twofold rather than threefold. But even if, I still wouldn't have had that second investment because I did invest at a low point here. 21 million supply is a huge marketing push. $4 billion market cap is peanuts. I agree. Influencers and big media are not yet talking about it. Yeah, as soon as I saw the news, that's what was crazy. I usually go on here, like I'll go on to Google and I'll type in biggest crypto news, right? And AI will kind of print out um, all the summaries of what's going on. And for the biggest news, you talked about regulation, which obviously is a big deal. You talked about XRP's price, BTC's price, the fact that Ethereum was running at that time. There was just a lot of top crypto news, right? And then all the way down at the bottom, as other mentions, was OKX burns 279 million coins. And I was like, all right, 279 million coins is not necessarily, it doesn't seem like it's a lot because I'm used to, you know, CRO or, seeing crypto.com and many others that are sitting in the billions. So I'm like, 279 million, it sounds like a lot, but obviously it's not because it's not major news. But then I go and look at it and I'm like, they only have 300 million coins. They burned 270, 280 million coins and there's only 21 million left. I was like, this is huge news. What do you mean? That's like, bare minimum of news. So that's when I went and looked at it and I saw that it was at a $95 price point, which was still at a gain compared to the previous day or the previous 7 days or something. And that's when I looked at the more extended view of the chart, which is what BTCC showed me. As I looked into it, it showed a huge candle wick up here, showing that it got to 144, 146 dollars per coin from a level of $40 to $140, and then the price that it was at currently was like 95. I was like, this is a no-brainer. It's come back so far. Yes, it's not showing me any support levels there, but it's come back so far that I have to make a purchase there. So I decided to buy at that moment, and obviously it wasn't a bad decision at all with how far it's come back, giving me a low point, and now seeing what I can gain within that time frame and how much I have, which again was $1,750, currently sitting at $192.62. So when we start to see this get up to 200 and 250, when we start to see the the major pushes, we're going to start to see many other people that are then talking about it. I feel like I start trends constantly where let's talk about some of the plays that I got into early on that I've been able to make a ton of money. Was this as early as $40? I'm sure there's other people that have made a ton of money from $40 and how much they invested at this level before they even got the news that OKB was, you know, gonna burn and it exploded. And maybe they sold. I don't know. Um, but let's go through a list of some other plays, right? Terra Luna Classic. Terra Luna Classic dropped from $80 all the way down to like percentages of pennies, right? Down to $1. When it was down to $1, I think it was $2. When it was down to $2, I said this may provide a huge opportunity. Everybody else was saying, "Get out. This is you're going to lose absolutely everything." And while that is true, if you were holding Terra Luna Classic and holding thousands of dollars, you probably did lose everything pretty much. But to say that it's dead and it's providing no opportunity is honestly just mind blowing, because as it's going even lower, it's going to hit a low and the cryptocurrency is going to survive. So I was like, where's that low at? And when I saw it at 4 zeros, when I saw it at 5 zeros where I was going to invest, I was like, this is a no brainer. I think it's going to skyrocket way past this. It's worth $10 million at this point. So I was like, it's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars and find a way to get back up to billions of dollars. So I was like, let's invest here. I bought there. Come to find out, I actually bought at 6 zeros, not 5 zeros, because it was falling by so much. And I was able to make thousands of dollars from that $43 investment that I put in there. Same thing goes for Jasmy Coin. I've been talking about Jasmy Coin for years before it actually exploded, before it actually pushed up to 6 cents. And honestly, it still has a lot more. And many people started to talk about it after the fact because I saw the promise in it, right? And I started to get views from it because Jasmy Coin was ran by like 500%, or technically gave us a 10x as well. There's many plays that I have jumped on and nobody was talking about really on YouTube. And I'll give people their credit, whoever was talking about it consistently, because I believe what's his name? Steph is crypto or something. He was talking about it constantly. I think that's his name. He was talking about it constantly on Twitter, on YouTube, and I want to give him his props. Hopefully that's his name there. But he was talking about Jasmy Coin before I was even talking about it. And I saw promise in it, he saw promise in it, but then so many other people jumped on the bandwagon because of the fact that it was gaining views. Same thing for, not saying for XRP. I started talking about XRP at the low of its kind of popularity. It was definitely interesting, but it was still not talked about as much because more people were talking about Terra Luna Classic. They were still talking about Shiba Inu. They were still talking about like just so many other things. So, and then OKB, I think this is going to be a play that gets talked about a heavy amount as we start to move forward because of what it's able to gain, and what it did. I aped in at 2K today with no leverage. If it goes up, fine. If I have a correction, I will add $600 for a 4x leverage this time. What do you think? Depends how far it comes down, right? I want you to get into a safe spot or a safe zone where if you see it come down to maybe 144, maybe that's a support level that we see, or even down to these levels of like 129. I always like to see strong like bodies for candles rather than seeing, long wicks. Obviously, we are looking at it by day. So if we look at it by hour, maybe you'll be able to see a little bit more of some of these support levels. So 175 could be a good level, or even some of these low levels here. I like to see, even though the wicks are kind of the strongest point, I like to play it as the body rather than the wick. So you're looking at 168. If you get down to those points, then you could potentially do a little bit of a leverage. I would say you kind of space out that leverage. So 4x leverage is where are you at? So $600 for 4x leverage. I would probably do it for a 2x leverage just to kind of protect your first investment. If you do a 4x leverage, that gets up to the point to where it's equaling or actually surpassing the amount that you put in, because you put 2K in at um, at a high level of 190, right? Or a highest level at the current moment of 190. So if you put in 600 at a 4x leverage, you're then putting in 20 or investing with $2,400. Even though your $600 is there, you're doing it at a 4x leverage, which means that your 4x leverage is more valuable than the 2K that you put in before. So I'll probably do it at a 2x leverage at the moment for your first level. And then if it does decide to come back a little bit further, where you see it, maybe at a 130, 140, or maybe a 200 EMA, or sorry, 50 SMA, then you could potentially, yeah, I think that's a significant point, especially even with the 15 moving average. So you see it with a 50 moving average, let's say it goes down to that point, 139, that's where you can do a little bit of a higher leverage at those moments, because you're so low that I would say, maybe a 3x leverage or 4x leverage would be good there, but make sure that you are, doing it the right way. Don't do a 4x leverage up here, because again, it's more than what you put in the beginning. You want to try and give yourself a little bit of risk, without putting on too much risk to where you have a chance to lose a large chance to lose absolutely everything. Now that is funny. Early is good. Early is good. Bam, I like hit, and now Clanker is the next micro gem for folks to be utilizing or easy development for easy development, and then some with the supply. Interesting. What is Clanker? 100% all out. Check out Talos if you want a gem, Matt. I think I'm pretty sure I've seen that play. Give me a second. I'm pretty sure I've seen that play. Let me duplicate this. Let me also go back to the pre-sale on this. But make sure you guys hit that like button. We got 32 people here, and I would like you to, hit the like button. It does help out with the growth and everything. You said Talos. I remember seeing, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know what this play is. I thought I saw a bigger play that was named that, and maybe that's not it. But I'm not gonna bring that up because it looks like it's, yeah, I don't know what that is. Thank you. Yep, no problem. Yeah, that's what it's all about, is trying to find the ability to marry the two of a safe play, but then also having a little bit of risk to give you reward. That's why when you see my OKB investment, and when you see my OKB investment over here for $600 at a 3x leverage, I could have done a 10x leverage at those points. If I would have done a 10x leverage, yes, it probably still would have gained a lot more, and I would have been able to be up, but I also wouldn't have put $600 in on it. If I'm doing a 10x leverage, it most likely will be like $200, maybe $300 at most. If you look at some of my other 10x leverages, some of my other plays, let me go ahead and scroll down. My other plays here, I have a 10x leverage for Caspa. You see how much I have invested? $58. I'm up 304%, but I'm invested $58. AVAX, $93. Jasmine Coin is a 2x leverage. So most of my 10x leverages, Terra Luna Classic here, is $257. Now, I don't know if that's going to be fully protected. We're currently only up 15%. And the stop loss, I believe, for that is sitting at .0000052 basically. So there is a chance that that could be completely stopped out, and I get liquidated, which would be fine. I wouldn't want it, but it would be okay. But I always try and protect myself in some sort of way. If it's a high leverage, it's a low cost. If it's a low leverage, I'm putting a higher amount that's in there, and 2x leverage means that if it drops 50%, I lose everything. What's the likelihood that comp is going to go from $50 to $25? Highly unlikely, right? And what's the chance that auction goes from $11? It would be a 3x leverage, so it goes from $11 to maybe $7. What's the point? $7.67. It's never been to this price point in history. So, not saying that it physically cannot, because we've seen things go the opposite way where it's never been to those price points in history and it's gotten there, right? But the likelihood, it's just unlikely. And also for these two plays that are down, I had the same method that I had for OKB. As it gets down to a certain point, I kind of double down into those things. Comp, same thing, double down into those things, because it is a larger amount at a low X leverage. It's not something to where I can lose a crazy amount. Like if I did a 500x leverage or something. It's a spanking new development token using AI agent per se. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really like to check out brand new things unless I've done research on it, extensive research on it beforehand. So I'll pass on looking at that, but I do take your word for it. Hopefully, you see some growth and you see some positivity, and um, you're able to 10x, 100x your investment, and then also see some major utility be push that a lot further than where it even stands today. So great insight as always, Matt. Thanks, and blessed morning to you and all. Well, thank you for saying that. Hope you have a blessed morning as well. I hope that everybody makes money from their plays. Take time to do your own research later. I'll have to do that. Yeah. But thanks for the heads up. I always like to get some information from people, just to see what's out there and what people are investing into. If you have any newer investments or any sleeper plays, feel free to let me know. So somebody asked me on Patreon. They were like, I was like, what's your recommendation? Or they said, what's your recommendation on coins or projects that I should buy? And I was like, one, I'm not going to tell you what projects to buy because it all depends on what research you do and what you believe in. Because if you just tell somebody to buy something, they're going to go, well, when should I sell? Right? They're going to go, well, what's your highest price that I have there? And while it is good to know all of that stuff, it's better to invest into something because you believe in it and have a list of reasons as to why you believe in those things, versus me just telling you to buy it and then you go, okay, I bought it. Now what do I do? You know? Um, so with my response to that was that, but also that your portfolio or the portfolio that's out there would need a couple sleeper plays that maybe nobody's talking about, but it has the popularity and a reason to invest into it. Something that could potentially have utility, that has a okay market cap, um, that has a decent amount of volume, that has a high volume to market cap ratio, no dilution. Just things that all tell you this is going to be worth more than where it stands here today, right? Um, and some examples of those plays, right? When Jasmine Coin was worth 100 million, maybe even a little bit less than that, I started talking about Jasmine Coin, right? I started talking about Jasmine Coin when it was first introduced on Coinbase, and I saw the ability to dilute the position, and I said, I like the movement into this. I like the popularity. I just don't like the amount of supply that's out there compared to the total supply. And I said, once they introduce all that supply, then you will see me talk about it more. Somebody told me on live stream that Jasmine Coin introduced all their supply, and I bought immediately. Right? I wasn't like watching it heavily, so somebody brought it to my attention, and I bought. I think it was like $1,000 at that moment, or $2,000. I ended up getting to a point where I bought $4,000 worth at 40% of a penny, which was 1,000,000 coins, and that's where I set it at. Now maybe I should have bought a little bit more to give me kind of room to play with. Take 1,000,000 and keep that forever, and take 1,000,000 and kind of make those trades. I learned my lesson with that when I bought into what's that project? GME, GameStop, and I bought 3,000,000 coins, made money off of 2,000,000, and I still have 1,000,000 left in my possession. But yeah, that's kind of what I ended up doing with that. But you need sleeper plays in your possession, in your portfolio, plays that you believe in that maybe others don't. Right? Not saying that it has to be like something way off to the side that's for one reason or one day got $300 million in volume, and then we'll never see that volume again, and also doesn't have the places to purchase it. Like it has no setup besides the volume that it had for one day. You don't want to deal with that. You want to make sure the setup is completely there. So yeah. Anyways, let's look at where OKB is market cap wise and everything. So currently OKB is sitting at a $192 price point, $192.68. In all history, back to 2019, it's up 12,000%. In the last year, it's up 416%. In the last month, it's up 299%. In the last 7 days, it's up 81%, from $104 to $192. It's currently sitting at a $4.04 billion market cap. The volume today, $1.16 billion. $1.16 billion. There should be more people talking about this and more interest that's going into this. 1.16 billion. Volume to market cap ratio, 29.69%, showing its level of popularity, showing that people are interested in it, showing that people like what this is. Circulating supply, 21 million. It still has the max supply sitting at 300 million. I think it's because it's sitting in an unaccessible wallet. So it's still going to be out here. It's just not ever going to be released. And maybe it'll be truly burned off rather than just sent to a wallet that's dead. But 21 million is the circulating supply, and that's what it's going to be. I don't know what it was before that, if it was just always 21 million, or if they had a lot more circulating supply. And then maybe I'll have to look back, because they did that burn like a month ago. I have to look back at maybe some previous videos that some other people did, because I never did a video on OKB until we saw the burn. But things look fantastic with this. Again, the market cap growth, if we look at all history, we can see that, all history has shown this has grown from 2020. It was at 100 million, jumped to a $2 billion market cap, back down to a 600, and then increased to a $3.2 billion market cap, to a $4 billion market cap, back down to a $2 billion market cap. And then you see it recently at a $4 billion market cap. So it's around kind of what the ranges were, right? It's just worth a lot more dollars, right? The price has skyrocketed, but the market cap has stayed sort of around the same, which is always great, right? This is kind of a clear indication of burns having an impact on the price. Market cap stayed around the same range, relatively decent growth throughout time. But then price looks kind of the same, but then once it gets up to this point, absolutely skyrockets, right? The burns increase the price, don't increase the market cap, but increase the price. I have Pepe coin, bro. I have Pepe coin as well. I don't have a lot, but I have some. What's your opinion? I know I'm waiting for 90 cents for Pepe, or you're waiting for. I thought Pepe had. That was at a. Not here. I don't want to do that. If you guys want to, sign up for BTCC, feel free to use my link in the chat. You'll get a 10% deposit bonus, extra bonuses up to $10,055. Also, you can trade all the way up to a 500x leverage. So let me duplicate this really quick. And you were talking about Pepe. I mean, I like Pepe, but I don't think I'm looking for 90 cents per Pepe. Because 90 cents per Pepe would be a ridiculous. Like you're basically looking at a $420 trillion market cap. I'm not looking for that type of growth. Look at how much growth this is. From where Pepe started, what was that, 9 zeros? Is that 9 zeros where it was at? 9 zeros, 1 8 to where it is today. You're talking about a 98 million% gain? Is that correct? That can't be correct. In the last year, you're looking at 35%, but this says 9 million%. Like, I would love to get started in one of these plays like early on, to just buy one of these plays that are going to skyrocket from, being worth $10 million to multiple billions of dollars. That would be fantastic. And to actually have a large lump sum of an investment in there, right? If I'm talking about $10,000 into those, that the problem is that you're buying into a play that, if you are going to buy into those plays, you're going to put $100 or $200 into it, right? You're never going to throw $1,000 or $10,000 into a play that's just like, what is it? What is it going to do? It's going to do nothing, right? But I would love one of those breaks, because I've seen some gains, but I haven't invested heavily into those plays, if that makes sense. Like if I would have been able to put $10,000 into Dogecoin in the beginning, I would have been able to turn, just like I put $100 and turn it into 800. If I would have put $10,000 into there, I would have turned it into 80,000 at that point. Now it wouldn't have been multiple millions of dollars. But it's always great to get some of those breaks. However, you have to look at it in, a different way. Like, it's very difficult for you to find a play like Pepe, for you to find a play like Dog with Hat, for you to find a play like Shiba Inu or Dogecoin. Those are all, meme coins. But you can find a play that has potential utility, that has a reason to hold it, and will give you a 500% gain. Looking for a 98 million% gain is not something that is doable all the time, right? Not even close. It's like trying to win the lottery. There's so many coins out there, and you don't know who's going to gravitate to what, but to make you feel a little bit better about investing into utility projects, know that this is gaining a lot more than the stock market, right? If you're investing into the stock market, even though my ETFs are up quite a bit, if you're investing into the stock market, you may be gaining 10%. You might be gaining at at max, depending if you're investing into a single position or an ETF, you might find a way to gain 20% or something. But to be able to gain 100% on your play kind of every day, to gain 500% on your play is not necessarily the norm in the stock market. So know that you're gaining more than traditional investors. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos and stuff. I appreciate you guys for being here, taking the time out of your day to be here. And let me know if do you guys have OKB, or um, did you not buy it? Did you not buy it at low levels, or are you waiting for a pullback, or what? Because OKB currently sits at $192.72. I did 3K on Dogecoin, bro, in 2019. Went up to 46K. Thank God. That's amazing. What did you do with the money then? Did you then start to reinvest into crypto, or did you go more meme coin base? Like, did you invest into heavier cryptocurrencies? Because if you would have then taken that to that 46K and put it into other plays like an XRP, you could have made a lot of money from that. Put it into Jasmine Coin, could have made a lot of money from that. Put it into Bitcoin or Ethereum, could have made a lot of money from that. Did you? The one thing that I'll say that I've noticed was the norm for people that made a lot of money on Dogecoin or Shiba Inu or whatever. they they did reinvest, but they reinvested into the bear market, right? So as things were falling down, they were investing into that bear market, meaning they were losing money as they went along. Some people sold and said, "Look, I'm done with crypto. I made what money I wanted to make." Um, but then others stayed in it and doubled down and were able to make even more money this time around. However, the bear market seemed like it took forever to go through. Like right now, we still haven't seen a lot of altcoins that have recovered from that. I wouldn't say fully recovered, but just haven't even recovered at all from where the bear market was. We have some that are still seemingly at low levels, and we're like, we need to see this altcoin season happen. And this is years after the fact, like multiple years after the fact, few years after the fact. And people are still at a level where they're questioning. But we all have free willy. Are we all free will? Is that what you're saying? A free willy? So many have rode the wave up and give it right back, holding it the marriage back. I hear you. I hear you 100%. Um, there are a lot of people that have done that, where they held throughout the top, they held throughout the bottom, they hold throughout the new top that they have here. But I'll say this: if you're investing into projects that have utility and that are going to have, major growth over time based on how they are used, it makes sense to kind of to feel that way, to hold that marriage bag, right? Because it hasn't reached its potential yet by your standards or even by the market standards. So if that's the case, it makes sense to hold it to see what it will be in the future. Now, for a Dogecoin or a Shiba Inu or a Pepe or something like that, right? Not saying that you sell it right now. We haven't seen altcoin season happen, but know that the primary focus of that, the primary reason you would buy those positions are for gains. You know, so it's not for this is going to have massive use case and it's going to have a reason for people to hold it. No, it's this is going to a certain level, and once it gets to that level, people are selling. That's what those meme coins are for, is to essentially make. I would think it's quicker money. It hasn't really been quicker money recently, but um, to make quicker money to then throw into some of those other plays that are going to be long-standing utility projects, or throw into your stock market account, your retirement, whatever, right? But just to fund something else in your life. I've made money from some meme plays. Um, when I talk about GameStop, and how much I made from that off of a smaller couple $1,000 investment, take that any day of the week. I hope to do the same with Grok, but I don't know. I hope to do the same with Book of Meme, but again, I don't know. So guys, yeah, definitely take the time to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. We got about 13 minutes to this live stream, and then we're gonna head out of here. I do think that we should have a little bit more popularity, I think, with OKB, and it is early morning. Maybe people aren't waking up to go, I want to invest into the crypto market or see what's happening in the crypto market. But OKB has just looked great, and I'm happy with all the movement. Because I have OKB at in my BTCC account that's up $1,750. I feel good about that. I'm tired, man. I'm so tired. But I don't know if I'll do like live streams after the fact talking about, on Patreon, because they give you the ability to do live streams now on Patreon. And, I did post a video talking about this leverage trade and, OKB and how it's exploding. If you guys want to look at that, it is free. It's open to the public. I've also talked about new cryptocurrencies, leverage trades of the day, and how much I was able to make on those leverage trades. And that was on like a 500x leverage that I did. So, Brandon White, what's going on? There's nothing much going on with me right now. Just trying to make some moves. Um, what's up with you? Have you made any investments lately? Any new crypto investments or any old crypto investments that have been making moves for you? Or any stock market investments? Like I've said, I talked about the stock market, and sorry, let me go back here. Let me go back to my assets here and go back to like Jasmine Coin or something. I like Yearn Finance too. I can't wait for that to explode. Um, what was I doing? I was gonna go into my Robinhood to see what I have there, because currently that's looking pretty decent. Maybe not today. It's only down $20 for the amount that I have in there, but for my dividend account, I'm sitting at $179,000, almost $180,000. I'm very, very happy with that. If we look at the last week, I'm up by $600. The last month, I'm up by 3,000. The last 3 months, I'm up by 12,600. Last year to date, 10,000. Overall year, 8,000. All history, $16,347 just on gains alone, 10%, and that's about 2 years from where I started here, which was like $60, to where we are here today. I'm up 10%, 5% each year. That's not bad. I would like to be a little bit more than that, and I could have thrown all of that into one crypto play and made so much more. However, I want the consistency of investing into a long-term dividend account and being able to manage that more than just throwing a bunch into different cryptocurrencies, right? Whatever I'm gaining from cryptocurrency, I'm throwing kind of a percentage or even sometimes all of it over here. I want to be able to gain that or bring that up to a 300,000. I think my goal for this year, which may not be hit, we'll see, um, would be to have about $250,000 in my dividend account. And we're getting close, but we're still very far off. Now, what I would have to do is gain a lot from cryptocurrency, whether it's OKB or whatever, and be able to put that into my dividend account there. I picked up 250K Zebek. I think somebody have talked about that recently. How is that going for you? How's that investment? Build an AI chain. Left plugin. Next chain link. Interesting. eCash, Casta, Algo, XDC, Tonic. It's always good to have your own list. And what's great is I see a decent amount of plays, or were you trying to say Caspa? Or, I don't know what Casta is, but uh, it's always great to have your own plays, ones that you believe in versus others, right? Um, and to have a list of plays that have some major popularity, like an XDC or even an Algo, right? In Chainlink, but you see PLI, that's what you would consider the next Chainlink. So it's always great to have your own plays that you believe in, and I love seeing that, right? I don't like to just see, oh, I have XRP, and that's it, right? It's great to have a great play like XRP, but it's also great to experience some other plays that are kind of the up and coming uh, utility plays or up and coming even meme coins, up and coming just coins in general. So it's great. I bought GME and some AMC. So honestly, I have AMC, right? We're talking about like stocks and stuff, but when it comes to the crypto market, they had a GME position, GameStop position, which I'll look for it. Um, they had GameStop. I believe this is it. That's sitting at a $9 million market cap. This rose to a way higher level. You look at the highs, and it got to a 2 cent price point. Or honestly, it was actually a 3 cent price point. That's where I took my not my only my initial investment, but I took a decent amount of profit from it, and still have 1 million of this GameStop that's in here. Um, but yeah, I like some of these plays, but the primary focus for a lot of these meme coins that they have there are to make money, and that's what I'm always looking at, is to find a way to make money from some of these plays, especially if they're at a lower market cap. I'm accumulating quant every week. Okay. How much quant do you have? Because I think quant is at like at 106. I thought I was gonna say 120, but quant is at 106, and I think quant has a lot more ability to grow. Like we've seen this up to a 400, $500 price point. And honestly, with circulating supply of 12 million coins, it has a lot of promise to grow a lot further than even where it stands here today. Right? We're talking about 12 million, 12 million coin supply. So $1, yeah, that makes sense. $100 is at a $1.2 billion market cap, and it could be worth a lot more than that. Like we look at the market cap that it was at previously, $4.7 billion market cap should be honestly double, if not triple what that is in the top of altcoin season. So yeah, it's doubled. A few X's out of it. You have 11. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's really good. I expect that to be worth a lot more. We just have to obviously see altcoin season truly materialize. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen some altcoins that have made some moves, right? Seeing Ethereum make moves is great. Get up to all-time highs, and I would love to see it break that all-time high. But I want to see more from other altcoins, right? You have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, and then you have altcoins. And what's the leader of what I would consider those altcoins? Yes, Ethereum is an altcoin, but because you have Bitcoin and then you have altcoins. The leader of altcoins is technically Ethereum, but you kind of put those two in their own separate areas, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then you're looking at everything else. Obviously, XRP would be the leader of those altcoins, but you see more of a close comparison between all of them. Eventually, you'll see XRP kind of push itself into that next bracket as well, which it kind of already has, getting to a $200 billion market cap. But you still need a little bit more push to kind of push it up to that level. I would say you get up to a 300, 400, maybe even $500 billion market cap. That kind of pushes it into that next level where everything else is competing for fourth on the list. And that's kind of, those are the new altcoins. That's the way that I look at it. One very important, most undervalued a new bond market holds staking quant will be a retirement account. I was just about to purchase YZY coin, but it's unlikely a pump and dump, or it's likely a pump and dump. I was just looking at that as I went into the main market view, as we're currently at a $3.85 trillion market cap, and where the volume is. I was looking at the trending coins. I saw OKB is trending. It's currently at 194, which is fantastic, but YZY is down 58% in the last 56%, 57% in the last day. It was sitting at a $3.33 million market cap with about $1 billion worth of volume, showing a 283% volume to market cap ratio. Circulating supply of 300 million versus the max supply of 1 billion, meaning there is a decent amount of dilution in it. I have no idea what it does or why we're seeing this, but this was just released yesterday, at least on CoinMarketCap, and we're seeing it drop by 57. I would take interest to see what it is and whether there could be any type of push to kind of pick this up at all, because I do like things that drop quite a bit. However, with the circulating supply being 300 million, meaning that's 30% of what the total supply is, it doesn't sit well with me, because whatever the price is, they can decide to just dilute the position and add more coins in there, and we're talking about millions of dollars, or multiple hundreds of millions of dollars at that point, because each coin is worth $1.11. So YZY is Kanye West's official meme coin. It's his official new meme coin. Where is it available on? Gate.io, crypto. It's available on crypto.com. So it's going to be around. It's not a pump and dump, but it's something to where the price has to be truly established by individuals rather than just established out here. So somebody established that price. As you establish that price, it drops down to what it's actually worth based on what people want to buy with it, or how many people sell it and how many people are deciding to purchase it. So it's definitely something that can have a lot of hype and a large amount of push. However, it would be something that you would have to have a strategy going into. If it was me and I said I was going to invest into it, 100% going to make a move into it. I thought they were just doing that based on like somebody else created it. I didn't know this is official meme coin, which I'll have to check into a little bit more. But the one thing that I'll say is if I was going to make a move into it and say I had to invest into it, this would be my plan. It already has come down 60%. Now, this is just based on the establishing of the price, of what the actual price is. I would take about a third of what I'm looking to invest. So if it's $1,000 or $3,000 or you have a max of $10,000, whatever it is, I would take a third of what I was going to invest. It would probably be at that level of a dollar. It still is only worth a $333 million market cap for something that is an official Kanye West meme coin. That's not horrible for somebody that still, no matter what, has a level of popularity to kind of push something so much further. So a $333 million market cap, it kind of sets you up for success in the future, because it will be worth a lot more. Now, if it's worth $1 billion in the future and there's still a billion supply that's out there, that is still only a dollar. Meaning that it, if it just stays at 333 million or it grows to 500 million, but all the supply is out there, you still are only worth, 50 cents. So you end up losing money in that deal. However, when you do see that dilution that happens into it and all the supply gets out there, which I don't know the method of the supply, if I did, I would say it, then you can kind of add a little bit more into it. So your second wave into it. Then when it establishes, and it all depends how long this takes, then when it establishes the low of what we expect to see, then you put your last third into it. That's what I would do if I was 100% looking to invest into this coin. Now, again, I haven't looked into anything else when it comes to the supply. I literally just brought it up here today. But maybe this needs a further discussion to talk about this project and see what people think about it. How much are people talking about it? How much viewership did it get yesterday?
Brandon White donated $1.99 through Super Chat.
Thank you for the Super Chat.
I keep Cosmos in my DeFi as my savings account.
You keep Cosmos in your DeFi as your savings account. That's not bad. I have a decent amount of Cosmos as well. I think I have like 1,000 Cosmos in my my wallet and my Ledger Stacks, and I plan on holding that for a very, very, very long time. I also have 1,000 that's sitting in my Coinbase, which I plan on using for more short term. But the other 1,000, hopefully, especially with how much it's used in various projects, I feel like it's a no-brainer to have Cosmos in your possession. So thank you for that super chat, but I'm right there with you. So we'll have to maybe talk about it a little bit more. I'll see what the popularity is, because I like to look up, popular projects and talk about those popular projects. So if this is a popular project, we will mention it in plenty of situations. Let me go back here. Let me see where OKB is. So currently OKB is sitting at $194.34. So it's still increasing. Oh, currently 201. It just broke the $200 level for the first time. 207? This is really picking up. Hold up. It's actually exploding at the moment. $205.79 is currently where OKB stands. $205. Got to $207. Are people just waking up and they're like, wait, hold up. What is this? What is this OKB? Should I invest into it? Should I be buying more? What's the reasoning behind it? They're getting all that research that we talked about for the past couple of days. I'm up $2,000 on this investment. $2,000 on this investment. Even people that invested today are making a decent amount of money. That's fantastic. The risk to reward looks off the chart. I would proceed with caution. What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about that position, still under $1 million market cap. Yeah, you wanna be able to manage risk to reward a little bit better. But again, I haven't looked at that. That's why there's a picture. I got you. Uh, Send and spend at no gas fees. We got 46 people that are here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell for more of these videos. Also, make sure you check out any of the links that are down below. It does help out the channel, helps out growth, helps out all of that stuff. I appreciate you guys for being here. This is currently crazy. $208. It's moving. And I'm up $2,029 or 351% on this investment. This is a leverage trade, a 3x leverage trade that currently is up $2,030. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. What is OKB, Matt? Just heard about it today. So I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos. I think I had 3 other videos. It is an exchange coin that's for the exchange OKX, a very, very large exchange, seeing millions or even billions of dollars of volume per day. OKX is huge. And what they decided to do recently is they did have 300 million coins in total. They had 300 million coins, but they decided to burn or kind of just throw into a dead wallet in a way 279 million coins. When I first saw it, I thought 279 million is like 1% or something. But then when I looked at it further and I saw that 300 million is the total supply, there's only 21 million coins that's available that's left. Meaning that there's no dilution potential within this. And now it can push up to even higher prices of, again, $206 or even more. We're talking about a major exchange that sees a lot of volume. Not to the level of Binance or anything, but if you go to exchanges and you look at the amount of volume, like for the last 24 hours in trading volume, Coinbase has saw $3.2 billion. OKX has seen $3.8 billion. Definitely not to the level of Binance, but I'm not saying it is a Binance, right? If it was at the level of Binance, Binance is sitting at, or BNB, the coin for Binance, right, is sitting at a $100+ billion market cap. OKX can easily get to a $20 billion market cap, being worth $1,000. It could be even worth more than that, right? Depending on what we see there, right? You have how many coins they have available? 344 weekly visitors or visits. You have 5.4 million people that are visiting weekly. It's a huge exchange, and OKB is the coin for that exchange, which is sitting at $206.53. He said it's too late now. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I would say it's too late to gain the same percentages that people have gained. I felt like mine was even, it was still early, but it wasn't as early as what other people could have been, right? Or what I could have been a month ago. It was sitting at $46, not even a month ago. While I was on vacation, if I would have seen it and had any type of news, with it, maybe I would have been able to buy it beforehand. I've always looked at OKX or OKB and said, yeah, I mean, this could have some potential. You know, it's a exchange coin. I like exchange coins, but I only had one or two exchange coins in my possession. You know, I have CRO and I have BNB, right? So those are the only two that I have in my possession, I believe. So buying this would have been like, oh, should I buy KuCoin token? Should I buy, Gate.io, token? I don't think it's too late. I just think it's maybe late to be able to gain the percentages that other people have gained already and what they will gain in the end. I don't honestly think it's too late. But with the reaction that we've seen in the last day, in the last 24 hours, it's up by 53%. So if it's up by 53%, I would kind of, wait for maybe a little bit of a retracement. The problem is will like how far will that retrace? Will it push up to $300 before it starts to retrace, meaning that it gets down to 200 at the low? Who knows? We'll see. But all I know is my OKB that's sitting in my leverage trading wallet, my leverage trading platform, BTCC, I don't need to do anything with it. Like, I'm not going to do anything with it. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Excited to see the growth and excited to make some moves in various places. I'm going to try and find some plays. Maybe I'll do like a quick live stream over on Patreon. If you guys want to join me over on Patreon, it's going to be free. I'm going to do a public live stream and I'm just going to go through maybe some trades for like 10 minutes. Just see if I could find some decent entry points in anything. So if you guys want to join me over on Patreon, feel free to do so. Again, I'm just going to be walking through it. I don't think I'll be really responding to anybody. I don't know if there will be a lot of people over there, but it will just be a public live stream that I'm going to go through my BTCC account and maybe find some different plays that are moving in an interesting manner. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys check out the links down below for BTCC, for Patreon, for Twitter.